यन्मायावशवर्ति विश्वमखिलं ब्रह्मादिदेवासुरा यत्सत्त्वादमृषैव भाति सकलं रज्जौ यथा हेर्भ्रमः यत्पादप्लवमेकमेव हि भवाम्बोधे स्थितिर्षावता वन्देऽहं तमशेषकारणपरं रामाख्यमीशं हरिम्। श्रीराम जय जय राम ओम 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 जय राम ओम जय राम ओम। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Hari Om. We had seen the portion of Puravasi Vishada. Right after Bhagwan Rama came out from the palace, from the Kopa Bhavan of Kaikeyi, everybody saw that something has happened. They realized that something has gone wrong, because of which Rajyabhisheka is not going to happen tomorrow. And when they saw that, everybody expresses their disappointment in different ways. That portion is called as Puravasi Vishada. Different people are expressing their disappointment. One thing to note there is, nobody was on the side of Kaikeyi. Not even one person was there who said whatever Kaikeyi did was the right thing. Means that was the personality of Bhagwan Ram. Nobody was there who was on the side of Kaikeyi. Everybody felt that whatever has happened is not good. With that, there were different types of people who came and expressed their opinion. Artha Shastri was there, Dharma Shastri was there, Nitijna was there, Kuta Nitijna was also there. But Bhakta was also there. And everybody said that whatever Dashrath Maharaj did, it had a purpose. He was knower of Dharma, and Bharatji has nothing to do in this. So don't even have that doubt that Bharatji also had some play in this whole thing. So that was different types of people coming and expressing. Then there were friends of Kaikeyi, whom Kaikeyi loved, and they also had a lot of affection towards Kaikeyi. They come and try to convince Kaikeyi. They come and try to tell her why whatever she is doing is not the right thing. They also give her different options. They try to understand what she is going through in her mind and try to give her different options, saying that first boon you take however you want, but at least make sure that Bhagwan Rama doesn't have to go to forest. We saw those options, right? She says, all the friends say, let Bhagwan stay in his guru's house. At least he doesn't have to go to forest. Or you say that you are taking Bhagwan's pariksha. You were just testing Bhagwan. That is why you did all this thing. Nothing really was there in your mind. So like this, things can still be controlled at this point. Please change your second boon. That is what they are praying. But in spite of telling everything, Kaikeyi is very, very firm. She doesn't go here and there. She says, whatever I have asked, same thing has to happen. And this is where we had seen the point that sometimes when we try to convince somebody, it is rejected right away. Our point just doesn't get across. Sometimes it is heard but not implemented. And sometimes it is heard and implemented right away. Means Ramayana is as though teaching us there are some facts of life. If we appreciate it, our life will be happier. We should make two columns, One is called as fair expectations. Second column is called as false expectations. Now thinking that whenever I tell something to somebody, it will be implemented right away. Where would we put it? Right expectation or false expectation? Like this, when we try to analyze, we'll come to appreciate that there are so many things we have in our life which are false expectations. And holding on to that, we miss our main goal, which is Bhagwan. Somebody who has Bhagwan as the goal, they will make sure that at least they have the right expectation. Goal is to go to no expectations, right? But that transition is very difficult. So at least going step by step. Go from false expectations to right expectation. From right to no expectation. No expectation is somebody like Bhagwan Rama. And true no expectation can happen only when somebody abides in the self. Right? So in that Chaitanya, when Jagat is Badita, he said what to expect, what not to expect. Right? Both are equal. There is nothing that he is looking for, neither there is something he is trying to stay away from. So that is a jnani, but one step before that is a sadhaka. So Kaikeyi's friends, they try to convince her so much. But finally they say, whatever is written for her, the same thing will happen. There is no point in insisting too much. Same line Lord Shiva also had said when he tried to convince Satiji. Hoi hi soi jo Ram richi rakha, ko kai tarka bada vaisaka. Means if Lord Shiva is saying that line, what to talk about us? Right? Bhagwan also feels that I cannot control everything every time. Now after this, today's portion is another side of it. We saw now how Kaikeyi is showing her colors. Now today Goswamiji is going to elaborate how Kausalya ji is going to show her point, how she is going to respond to the same situation of Vanavasa. Okay, let us see that now after 50th Doha. Utarun deyitu sahari sarukhe, mrugina chitav janu baghini bhukhe, vyadhiya sadhi jani tinha tyagi, chali kahat mati manda abhagi, Raju karat yah daya begayi, kinhe si asaj sakarayi na koi. Ehi vidhi bilapahi pura nar nari, dehi kuchalihi koti kagari, jarahi vishama jaralehi usasa, kavani rama binu jivana asa, vipula viyoga praja kulani, janu jala charagana sukhat pani, अति विषाद बस लोग लोगाई, गए मातु पहि राम गोसाई, मुख प्रसन्न चित चौगुन चाऊ, मिटा सोचु जनि राखे राऊ, नव गयंदु रघुबीर मनु, राजु अलाल समान, छोट जानि बन गवन सुनी, उर आनंद अधिकान सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय, श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. In spite of all her friends telling her, Kaikeyi is standing without any response. She is not even responding to what all things they have said. As though there is a hungry tigress waiting for deers. Like that, Kaikeyi is standing. Goswamiji finds his own examples, metaphors. Mrugina chitavajanu baghini bhuki. How the tigress will look for deers, like that Kaikeyi is looking at all her friends. I mean, these are the play of gunas. If Rajoguna and Tamoguna is high, clouds our thinking and makes us forget all previous sambandhas. They were all good friends, right? But none of that is there in her mind. Only she is concerned about is her opinion. And what do the friends say? Vyadi asadi janitina tyagi. This is after 50th Doha, if you are searching. Vyadi asadi, I mean, they say this disease is incurable. It is said there is one disease which is dussadhya. Dussadhya means it is difficult to cure, but you can put forth more effort and cure it. But there are some things which is asadhya. Asadhya means what? No matter how hard you try, it will not get cured. Goswamiji has written later part called as Manasa Roga. He said just like we have disease in physical body, we have disease in mind also. And one of the main thing which is incurable, he says, is hata. Hata means insistence, that, I will not let go of this thing. That hata is something, no matter how much logic you give, how much you try to convince, that person will never get convinced. They have a saying, right? You can wake up a sleeping person, but you cannot wake up somebody who is showing off that he is sleeping. So this is that asadhya. So they say this is incurable, no point in telling her. She has understood everything, still she is wanting to do what she wants. Chali kahata mati manda abhagi. They say mati manda means right now her thinking is not proper, and abhagi. Abhagi means what? Sometimes when we are about to make some decision, and if Bhagwan's grace is there, at the right time, he will bring the right buddhi and say, okay, this is not what I should be doing. Let me do the right thing. Abhagi means even that check was not there. Until this point, she could have changed so many places, but she is not willing to change anywhere. So they say no point in telling her any further. Raju karata yaha daimu begai. Bhagwan, his destiny is such that she was ruling so well. And suddenly, he has changed everything for her. They are also sympathizing with her, because they also know that there is a more cosmic plan that is working over here right now. Keen hese asajasa karai na koi. In general, nobody would do like her. What 2 boons that she had asked? See, even an ordinary person will not ask such a boon. Somebody who is so good, Bhagwan Rama, why would they want to send him to the forest? But look at the power of destiny, what it makes a person do. Ehi bide bilapahi puranara nari, dehi kuchalihi kotikakari. So everybody is talking like this in the city, and everybody is blaming Kaikeyi. They have not yet come to know that Manthara is behind this. Otherwise, they would have, caught hold of her. But they just know the immediate karanam. Immediate karanam is Kaikeyi, so everybody is blaming her. Jarahi bishama, jara lehi usasa, kavani rama binu jivana asa. Everybody is having so much of agony in their heart, deep sighs. And only one thought they have, how will we be able to live without Bhagwan Rama? 14 years we have to live without him. Just thinking about that, they are having so much of agony in their heart. As though, those creatures which are there in water, when the water level goes down, how they feel anxious. Like that, all these Ayodhyavasis, they were feeling anxious. Now, meanwhile, Bhagwan goes to meet Kausalya ji. Very quickly, means he went from Kaikeyi's Kopa Bhavan, directly he goes to meet Kausalya ji. And what is Bhagwan's mind like? Bhagwan is so happy. Mukha prasanna, chita chauguna chau. On his face there is delight, but in his mind there is 4 times delight. Why? Because all 4 Purusharthas are going to get accomplished for him. So in his heart, he has that joy that I will go to the forest. And now, after whatever Kaikeyi has done, he says, nobody can stop me also. Mita sochu jani rakhe rao. Initially, he thought Dashrath Maharaj might say that don't go. But that was also put to rest. Now he says, after whatever Kaikeyi has done, he says, nobody can stop me from going to the forest now. In his mind, there is so much of joy. How? Goswamiji says, like a newborn elephant. Newborn elephant, when iron shackles are there, how it can break out of it, or the joy it gets when it breaks out of it, that kind of joy Bhagwan Rama is getting. Meaning what? This entire kingdom, administration, everything was like iron shackles on Bhagwan. He feels, I'll get to go to the forest and I'll get to live the life that I wanted to live. These are Jnani Mahatmas. For them, bhoga is sorrow. For Ajnani, bhoga is something very great that Ajnani looks forward to. For Ajnani, the same bhoga is tapasya. Vidyananda Swamiji writes in Panchadashi, 7th chapter, Jnani does bhoga of Vishayas with klishta vritti. Klishta vritti means, oh my God, again I have to do bhoga of this. In that way, he will live his life. So that is Bhagwan Rama. He's so happy that he'll get to go to the forest. An example is given of a new elephant. New elephant means young elephant. Because the one which is old, it is said that elephant becomes very comfortable in the iron shackles. It doesn't feel that it's a bondage. What is a bondage? The iron shackles which are there, it doesn't feel it is a bondage. So here it's a new young elephant. So that young elephant feels, these iron shackles, I will get freed from them. Now this prasanga is very, very beautiful. You have to read it with a lot of inner strength, because Kausalya ji, Bhagwan is going to break the news now that he has to go to the forest. But let us see what we can learn from Kausalya ji's response. But over here, Bhagwan first goes and bows down. And Kausalya ji has no clue what had happened, Kaikeyi's Bhavan, nothing she knows. Bhagwan just asks her blessings, and then she gives her blessings, gives Bhagwan her blessings, gives him a lot of jewelry, because next day Rajyabhisheka is going to happen, and gives a lot of other clothes and everything, and embraces Bhagwan, saying that, such an auspicious thing is going to happen, and you have come at a very good time. And so much of affection is there that she starts, crying just in front of Bhagwan, and she's treating him as a child. Bhagwan is going to become king now. He's a young adult, but she is treating him as a child, makes him sit next to him, fondles him, as though he is just the same Bhagwan whom she saw in that, cradle when she sang the stuti. All of this, Goswamiji says, the joy is indescribable in Kausalya ji's heart. And she's asking only one question. Tell me, when is the auspicious time now? When is that Muhurat? When your Rajyabhisheka is going to be done? I'm waiting for that. How am I waiting? She says, just like the Chataka bird waits for the rain on Swati Nakshatra. Like that, I am waiting. Not only me, all Ayodhya Vasis are waiting for that day now. We know it is tomorrow, but tell me, what time is it? Only that she is asking. Now this we will chant after 52. Bhagwan is going to respond to her. Tat jaau bali peki naha, jo man bhava madhura kachu khau, pitu samipat bajaye ubhaiya, bhai badi bar jai bali maiya, matu bachan suniyati anukula, janu saneha surataru ke pula, सुखमकरंद भरे श्रिय मूला निरखि राम मनु भवरुण भूला धर्म धुरी न धर्म गति जानी कहे मातु सन अति मृदु बानी पिता दीन मोहि कानन राजो जह सब भांति मोर बड़ काजो आय सुदेहि मुदित मन भाता जेहि मुद मंगल कानन जाता जनि सनेह बस डर पहि भोरे आनंदु अम्ब अनुग्रह तोरे वर्ष चारि दस विपिन बसे करि पितु बचन प्रमाण आई पाय पुनि देखियहु मनुजनि कर सिमलान सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। मदर्स लव. Kausalya ji is telling Bhagwan Rama, तात जाऊं बलि बेग नहाऊं. Go and take shower quickly. जो मन भाव मधुर कछु खाऊं. Whatever you like, eat something sweet. Because the previous day, whole day they had done fasting. Vasishtha Maharshi, that was the first instruction he gave. Rama karu sanjama ajo. That Bhagwan Rama, you have to do japa and tapa on the previous day. You have to do sanyama. Means lot of rituals will be there, everything. You said you're already hungry and it's already 3 hours have passed from the morning. Because Bhagwan went in the morning to Kaikeyi's bhavan and now he is back there. He says even the ceremony will take longer. So don't stay hungry, eat something. You cannot eat a full meal because that still has to be after your coronation. But eat something and then you go to your father. Because he will not ask these questions. He will ask something about administration, all the things which are there. He will be engrossed in that. You make sure that you eat something and then you go. Pitu samipa taba jayahu bhaiya. After you eat, then you go to father. Don't go before that. Bhai badi baar jai bali maiya. This balihari, bali maiya means, English word is very difficult to translate. In Hindi they say nazar utarna. Means I pray that everything be auspicious. That is what I am praying. So every line she adds that. I am praying that may everything be auspicious. That is what I am praying. Matu bachana suni ati anukula janu saneha surataru ke pula. How were Kausalya ji's words? It is as though there is one kalpataru vruksha and the flowers of that kalpataru vruksha are the words of Kausalya ji. And so gentle, so pure-hearted. Those are her words. Sukha makaranda bhare shriya mula. They have the nectar of Sukham. The flowers which are there on that kalpataru, her words, they have that nectar of Sukham. And there is so much of joy. One gets listening to it. And it is shriya mula. It will bring all prosperity to Bhagavan. At the same time, Nirakhi Rama Mana Bhavarana Bhula. Bhagavan's mind doesn't get carried away by her words. And this is that fine line between being gentle yet being firm. Right? Otherwise, mother's words, they are so nice. He could have easily gotten carried away, saying that maybe I should not go. Because she is also saying, she is also so happy about it. That could have been another turning point in Bhagwan's decision. This we see in our life also. Many a times when we have to do something good, you have to move from one place to another, or you have to take up some sadhana for yourself. And then somebody comes and says out of love, why are you doing all this? Anyway, you are here, it is okay. Now that love can become a turning point in that decision. Something which was auspicious, something which I should have been doing, that I will end up changing because of this sneha. That part Bhagwan is showing in his firmness. That in spite of so much of love, in mother's words, he says, I'm not going to change my mind. But how does he say it? That is a beautiful part here. Dharma dhurina, dharma gati jani. Dharma dhurina means one who walks on the razor edge of dharma. One is so careful at every step. No pramada anywhere. Pramada means inadvertence. In every action, so much of care is there. That is Bhagwan Rama. Kaheu matu sana ati mrudu bani. He is going to say something which is very, very sweet. In Bhagavad Gita, we saw one of the quality of speech is anudvegakaram. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat. Means it should be such that it doesn't agitate the other person. At least that effort we should put. Whether that person gets agitated or not, it is in their hands. But from our side, we have put forth that effort. Now, Bhagwan could have said the same line in so many ways. He could have said, my father abandoned me into the forest. Or he promised me one thing and gave me something else. Same thing, whatever has happened, same thing he's saying. But Bhagwan is saying it in such a way that he is putting himself in mother's shoes and saying, what would she be going through? Whatever I say, how will she respond? How will she take it? So for that, look at his sentence now. He says, Mother, you are asking which muhurta. Let me tell you one thing, my coronation is already done. Only thing is, I got coronated for the kingdom of forest. Pita dinha mohi kanana raju. Father gave me the Raja. He gave me the kingdom, but only kanana raju, the kingdom of the forest. And it is not that he has randomly or impulsively given. There was a lot of work that needed to be accomplished in the forest. That is why I am going there. Jaha sab bhanti mora bada kaju. So many people, so many Rakshasas are there, Asuras are there. I have to take care of them. That is why Father has sent me, not because of any other reason. All Bhakta Lakshanas, you can see in this entire Chaupai. 12th chapter, whatever Bhagwan says, right? One is this one. One who puts himself in other person's shoes and then thinks. One whose speech is such that it doesn't agitate other person. What is another Bhakta Lakshana? Yasman no dvijate lokaha, lokahan no dvijate chaya. One who doesn't get agitated by the world. Kaikeyi said so many things, Bhagwan did not get agitated. And he tries his best not to agitate others. Now the second part, right? Not agitating others. He says that is very hard. Because not getting agitated by others, it is said you can do more sadhana, you can develop more titiksha inside and do that. But how do you accomplish not agitating others? Right? It is said this is only possible when somebody abides in the self. If there is a jnani who is abiding in Atma, nobody can get agitated by Atma. Means any great Mahatma you see, they never agitated the world. Right? Why was that? Because their abidance was in Chaitanya, was in Ananda Swarupa Brahma. And the same Brahma is the Atma of everybody. And nobody has any reason to get agitated from Atma, which is Ananda Swarupa. It is only when somebody wants the world, they will take the form of the world, and that will agitate others. This Maharaj is Mananama. He said, how will you accomplish this? Maharaj means Swami Akhandananda Maharaj. He said, how will you accomplish this? Yasman no dvijate lokha is fine. Or lokan no dvijate chayaha is fine. Not getting agitated by the world. But how will you make sure that you don't agitate the world? Or others don't get agitated by it? He said, only way to do that is to abide in Chaitanya. That Atma is non-agitating. And that Atma is the self of everybody. So in that way, this is accomplished. So Bhagwan Rama is that Jnani, who is the self of everyone. Ayasudehi, he is telling mother now, please don't feel very sad and with lot of sorrow send me away. Give me your permission with joy. It is said when somebody is leaving from the home to any destination, we should not show a lot of grief, not a lot of sorrow should be there. That's why some traditions, they eat sweet, right? Meaning what? May the journey be auspicious, may mind be cheerful. So he says, give me your permission with joy. Jehi muda mangala kanana jata. By which I will go to the forest and everything will be good with me. Just give me that blessing. Jani saneha basa darapahi bhore. Make sure that you are not afraid because of over-attachment. That you are so attached to me, you love me so much. Because of that, don't stop me. Or feel sad and try to change the plan over here. Anandu amba anugraha tore. With your blessings, everything will be good. I'll be happy even in the forest. Now, you see Bhagwan's every word. He's so careful, trying to do his best to create least agitation in mother. He says, Barasha chari dasa. First he says 4. I have to go to the forest for 4 years and 10 more years. 14 years I'll be back. Barasa chari dasa bipina basi karipitu bachana praman. I will make father's words come true. Ai paya puni dekhaun. I will come back and see your lotus feet. That much blessings I have and that much confidence I have that you will live strong in this 14 years and then I will come back. Manujani karisi manan. Don't make your mind unhappy. Now these words of Bhagwan Rama, although it was so sweet, so gentle, it hit Kausalya ji as though they were arrows. And she shrunk, just like when it rains, this Javasa plant which is there, that shrinks. You see the metaphor? The rain is something so calming. It is so cool, soothing. But even with that rain, that Javasa plant shrinks. So even with Bhagwan Rama's sweet words, Kausalya ji shrunk. Because she was just wondering whether this is something real or it is just, he is telling me that he is going to the forest now. How did Kausalya ji feel? How a deer feels afraid listening to a lion's roar. And it is said, lion's roar is such, you don't know the direction in which it is coming. Bhagwan's creation, everything is made in a very unique way. So you don't know where it is coming from. Like that, with what, uncertainty that deer looks, like that Kausalya ji was stunned listening to this. Goswami ji gives several examples. He says, sometimes this fish which is there, it swallows this scum. That foam that comes with the first rain, it is said it's poisonous. And when it inhales it, it becomes intoxicated. So much so that it forgets everything. People can go and just pick it up. That is the state of that fish. So he says, like that, Kausalya ji became, so disoriented after hearing this. Now she is gathering some courage to speak now. She has to say something. She has heard everything from Bhagwan Rama. First thing she says is, your father was so proud of each and every action of yours. And not only once or twice, forever he was proud. Means until now, you have not done anything for which he was, feeling sad, for which he felt that you did the wrong thing. So your charitra is so pure that you have never done anything wrong. So tell me, for what reason is Bhagwan, for what reason is Dasharatha Maharaj sent you to the forest? What is that reason because of which you are sent? Tata sunavahu mohi nidanu ko dinakara kula bhayo krusanu. Just above 54. What is that reason because of which you are being sent to the forest? Who has come as the sun to dry up this entire lotus of Raghukula? What has happened? Now, Bhagwan Rama is Maryada Purushottam. Because somebody asks a question, he will not answer if he doesn't want to answer. So he just indicates to Sumantraji's son. Sumantraji's son had come. He just indicates, you tell. So Sumantraji's son tells Kausalyaji what all things happened. You see that Chaupai 54. Nirakhi Rama Ruka Sachiva Sutta. Nirakhi means indication. Bhagwan gave indication to Sachiva Sutta, means Sumantraji's son. He said, you explain what all has happened. And then Sumantraji's son gives all the information. Suni prasangu rahi mukajimi dasa barani nahi jai. Kausalyaji is as though speechless listening to this. Now this portion after 54 Doha is very beautiful. Now this is the response that Kausalyaji is going to give to Bhagwan Rama. She is going to respond to Bhagwan Rama. And there are several layers to her response. One is, how does a buddhi with viveka look? In Vedanta we say, one needs to have viveka. Right? Viveka means what? Between two things I am able to discern. But generally what happens is, situations come in such a way in our life that we never see two options. Whatever we like, we see that only one option. Over here, in spite of this, so much of affection towards Bhagwan Rama and hearing such a news that my son is sent to the forest, we see the viveka in Kausalyaji. So much of calmness in her mind, she is evaluating all options. What is the first option I can do? What is the second option I can do? What is the right option to do? That is this viveka. Second is, sometimes we feel person who is decisive, person who has viveka doesn't have emotions. Means either person is very decisive or very emotional. Emotional person cannot be decisive and decisive person doesn't have emotions. That is another misunderstanding. So here Kausalyaji shows how she can keep her emotions as a mother, yet be decisive. So she will give two answers. One answer is out of her sneha. One, she is going to say, if your father has said something, mother's words are more powerful than father's. I tell you, don't go to the forest, and my words are more powerful than your father. That is her sneha. But then she says, when I think from dharma standpoint, if I stop you behind because of my sneha, that will not be the right thing. So go, I give all my blessings, I will also tell you how to live there. That is her decisiveness. Okay, second, last point. Ramayana is such a wonderful book. This point Maharaji told her, I'm just sharing. He said, Ramayana is such a beautiful book. Whichever character we identify with, we will speak as though that elaboration is being done of me. Okay. So previously we saw so much of criticism was there, right? Nari Swabhava and everything. We should remember this is also Nari Swabhava only. Kausalyaji Swabhava, don't just take one part. So whichever character we identify with, we will feel as though that character is speaking about me. So if at all we have to identify with Kausalyaji. Don't get stuck with Manthara. Don't get stuck with Kaikeyi. Hold on to Kausalyaji. The last verse of Bhagavad Gita chapter 12. Bhagwan says, ये tu dharmyamrutamidam yathoktam paryupasate. Shraddhadhana mat paramaha bhaktastetiva me priyaha. After evaluating or explaining all the qualities of a devotee, Bhagavan says, if there are some devotees who don't have those qualities yet, but they have a lot of reverence for those qualities and they're meditating upon those qualities, those are the most dearest to me. Those devotees are the most dearest to me. You know what that means? Means if I appreciate or revere the qualities of Kausalya ji and feel that I should become like her, Bhagavan says that devotee is the most dearest to me. Because he is revering those qualities and putting forth effort to get those qualities. He might not be there yet, which is okay. But whatever personality we identify with, that should be the right personality. So that thing we should be very careful. Don't identify with Manthara. Don't identify with Kaikeyi. They are just said so that we can do tyaga of it. In those vrittis we can let go of. These vrittis we should keep with us. Okay. All right. Now let us see the response of Kausalya ji after 54th Doha. राखी न सकई न कहि सक जाहु दुहु भाति उर दारुन थाहु लिखित सुधाकर गा लिखि राहु विधिगति बाम सदा सब काहु धर्म स्नेह उभय मति घेरी भई गति सापछु छंदरी घेरी राखहु सुतहि करहु अनुरोधु धर्म जाहि अरु बंधु विरोधु कहु जान बन तो बड़ी हानि संकट सोच विबस भई रानी बहुरी समुझिति धर्म सयानी राम भरत दो सुत समजानी सरल स्वभाव राम महतारी बोली बचन धीर धरि भारी तात जाऊं बलि कीन्हि उनीका पितु आयसु सब धर्म कटीका राजु देन कहि दीन बनु मोहिन सुदुख लेसु तुम बिनु भरत ही भूपति प्रजहि प्रचंड कलेसु जो केवल पितु आयसु ताता तो जनि जाहु जानि बड़ी माता जो पितु मातु कहे बन जाना तो कानन सत अवध समाना पितु बन देव मातु बन देवी खग मृग चरण सरोरुह सेवी अंतहु उचित नृपहि बन बासु भय बिलोकि होई हरासु बड़ बागी बनु अवध अभागी जो रघुवंश तिलक तुम त्यागी जो सुत कहाँ संग मोहि लेहु तुम्हारे हृदय होई संदेहु पूत परम प्रिय तुम सबहि के प्राण प्राण के जीवन जी के ते तुम कहूँ मातु बन जाओ मैं सुनी बचन बैठी पछिताओ यह विचारी नहीं करऊँ हट झूठ स्नेह बढ़ाई मानी मातु करनाथ बलि सुरति बिसरि जन जाहि सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. So Kausalya ji is having those two doubts in her mind. I can't ask him to go to the forest, nor can I ask him to stay back. If I ask him to go to the forest, I cannot say that because I'm a mother. I cannot say that, okay, whatever your father has said, you just go to the forest. Nor can I ask him to stay because I know that Bhagwan Rama is dharma, embodiment of dharma. He cannot go back on his words also. But she says, Bhagwan also is very strange. He was writing something and suddenly he wrote something else. In astrology, the symbol of Chandrama and symbol of Rahu is very similar. So Rahu symbol is like, like this. And Chandrama is also in the same way. So as though Bhagwan was writing Chandrama and suddenly he made one small twist and it became Rahu. That is Kausalya ji, she is saying. Now she says, if I stop him, then what are the conflicts? One is dharma will be lost. That he has said, my husband, Dashrath Maharaj has said something. His words will be, lost, and entire Raghukula, the fame that they have, that will be at stake. And there might be a potential conflict between the brothers. Because she doesn't know what all things have happened. So two reasons she points out. Rakhamu sutahi karau anurodhu, dharmu jai aru bandhu virodhu. This is second chaupai after 54. If I ask him to stay back, then two things can happen. One is words will not be kept, and second is there can be a potential conflict. But if I ask him to go to the forest, then what will happen? She has it very clear in her mind. Dashrath Maharaj will not survive and Bharatji will not be the king. This is either way there is a problem. I'm not able to decide how I should go further now. Sarala Subhav, Rama Mahatari, Boli Bachana Dhira Dhari Bhari. What is her nature? Very, very sarala. Straightforward in her thinking. No lot of, kutilata. Thinking something, saying something else, doing something else. Not like that. Whatever she feels, that she is going to say now. Tata jau bali kin nika pitu ayasu saba dharamaka tika. He says, you can go to the forest. Whatever your father has given you as the request that he has made, you can go to the forest. I'm not very concerned about it. But what I'm concerned more about is what will happen to your father and what will happen to Bharatji. That is what is worrying me, not how you are going to live in the forest. That she says. Now mother's heart. She is saying, Jo kevala pitu ayasu tata, jo jani jahu, jani badi mata. If your father has told to go to the forest, if you compare father's words and mother's words, he says mother's words are heavier in different places. Over here also she says, my words are more powerful than your father's words, and I am saying don't go. If both of us had said go, then that forest would have been like thousands of Ayodhyas. Means then that is your bounden duty, you have to go to the forest. But right now only father has told to go, and I am telling you don't go. Jo pitu matu kahyo bana jana, tau ka nana sata avadha saman. If both have told you to go, then it is like 1,000 Ayodhyas. In that case, what will happen? If you go to the forest, your father will be Vanadevata. What we are studying in Vedanta Sara, Upahita Chaitanya, of the entire forest. He will be your father, and Vanadevi will be your mother. And all other Khaga, Mruga, animals which are there, insects which are there, they will serve you. Meaning what? When you go to the forest, don't complain. Blend with that lifestyle. Just be as one of those forest dwellers. So I will not feel very bad if that was the case. If both of us had told you to go, then you have to go to the forest. But now only father has told, I am telling you don't go. Why? She says, Antahu uchitan rupahi banabasu, vaya biloke hiya hoi hurasu. Look at her Viveka. Even at this point, she is fully under her control in her emotions. She says, I know that one day all of us have to go to the forest. All of us have to go to the forest, in particular kings. Right? In Bhagavatam, we see every story of a king ends with that. There was an emperor who ruled very well. At some point, he made his son the king and went to the forest. Kausalya says, what is new about this? All our ancestors have gone to forest. We also have to go to forest. But only thing what is pricking me is, we all have to do this at a later stage in life. You are so young, and you are going to the forest right now, only that thing is hurting me a little. Baya biloki, looking at your age, only that is the part, which is little bit pricking me inside. But she is telling Bhagwan Rama, actually, the one who is unfortunate is Ayodhyavasi. Those who are fortunate is the forest dwellers. Why? Because you have done tyaga of Ayodhya and you have chosen the forest. Whatever Bhagwan chooses, says that is the most auspicious thing. Or rather, put it other way. Whoever chooses Bhagwan, that is the most auspicious thing to choose. Whatever thing makes us to drop Bhagwan, so he says that is the most unfortunate thing. Taponji Maharaj has a quote, a very similar one, I had shared in Vedanta Sara class. He says, whatever turns your mind to God is worthy of praise. Another part is, whatever turns your mind away from God has to be criticized. In our own eyes, we don't have to criticize outside. Whatever Vishaya, whatever thing is taking us away from Bhagwan, that has to be criticized. Now she says, if I say that you should take me along with you, you should also take me along with you, then I will put you in more doubt. You will start feeling that either I don't want you to go to the forest, or you might feel that I'm very hesitant to live in the kingdom ruled by Bharatji. So all those things you might feel. So that is why I will not stop you also. Jo suta kahau sanga mohi lehu, tumare hruday hoi sandehu. If I insist that you should take me also to the forest, then you will be in more doubt. I don't want to put you in more doubt. Puta parama priya tumahi sabike, prana prana ke jeevana jike. You are so dear to everybody. You are prana of prana. Kenopanishad hai. So pranasya prana hai means you are that self of everybody, but even in vyavahara you are so dear to everybody. And suddenly one day you come and tell me that you want to go to the forest, and I am sitting here and lamenting and thinking about it. Can you imagine what is going in my heart? Kausalya is asking Bhagwan Rama. But finally she makes a decision now. That is her viveka. After thinking everything, after showing all the emotions, now she says, Yaha bichari. Bichari means having thought very well. Nahi karau hatha. I will not just put my foot down and make things more complicated for you. This is the difference between Kaikeyi and Kausalya ji. One is just not ready to budge. Kausalya ji says, I am more concerned about how you are going to accomplish things. So she says, I will not put my foot down. Jhoota sanehu badhai. Jhoota sanehu means false love. False love, here what it means is misplaced love. When somebody is going for an auspicious thing, that also I have seen. Kausalya ji says, how much good is there in the forest for you? In that, I will not unnecessarily show my motherly affection and hold you back. If you have to go, you will go. Only one thing, he says, Mani matukara nata bali surate bisari jani jani. Once you go to the forest, make sure that you don't forget me. Because you will have so many other lifestyle there. So many Rishi Munis will be there. Constantly you will be in satsang. So much of vairagya will come. But in and through that, just remember me also. If this much you do, you can go to the forest. My blessings are with you. And now she says, when you are there in uncertain situations, who will be your protectors? He says, all devatas and ancestors, may they come and protect you. A very deep chaupai it is. Deva pitara saba tumahi gosai. Rakhau palaka nayana ki nai. May all the ancestors come and protect you, just like the eyelids protect the eyes. All devatas and pitara. There was a Mahatma ji to whom one young boy came and said, my grandparents recently reached Bhagwan's feet. And I have this thing very much pricking in my heart that I could not serve them. That I had so much of affection, so much of love was there, but I could not serve them. And this thing has been bothering me so much that I'm unable to do my work. I'm unable to, just forgive myself for that, because there was so much of sambandha, so many things I received, but I could not serve them. And the Swamiji said, why do you think you cannot serve them now? Why do you think you cannot serve them now? In their name, you start doing sadhana. In their name, you start chanting Bhagavad Gita. In their name, you start giving some dhanam. Whatever your heart connects with, you start doing that in their names. That is their seva. And he said, he came back after 6 months, so much relieved inside. Maharajji only. He said, that person came back after 6 months with such a light heart that there are several ways of serving. And for Pitara, this is one of the important ways. Whatever sadhana we do, whatever good work we do, doing it as a gratitude for what we have received from them. But in and through we realize we are only benefiting. Why? Because it comes back as their blessings. It comes back to protect us in and through our life. That is the Chaupai. Deva Pitara. Pitara word means all ancestors. Deva Pitara Saba Tumahi Gosai Rakhau Palaka Nayana Kinai. Avadi Ambu Priya Parijana Meena Tuma Karunakara Dharma Dhurina. He says all these Ayodhya Vasis, they are like the creatures living in that water. What is that water? He says your 14 years of exile. That is the water, and all of us are like those fishes living inside that water. So make sure that you come back and keep us alive. Means after 14 years are over, don't allow that water to dry up. You come back and meet all of us and give us that joy and contentment. That is Kausalyaji's final instruction to Bhagwan Rama. But now she has that sorrow also in her heart. She says, all our punya karmas are over today. That we had to see this day, that you have, to be sent to the forest. That just means all our punyas are over. And whatever other things we have to see, they are going to come up now. But she says, I'm ready for it. And overpowered by all these emotions, she is having so much of agony, and Bhagwan just embraces her and consoles her. Ram uthai matu uralai, kahi mrudu bachana bahuri samuchai. And he tries to console her in several ways. And finally, after listening to all these things, Sita ji comes there. Sita ji had no clue what was happening, because Bhagwan just went in the morning with Sumantra ji saying that Dashrath Maharaj has called. And after that, what all things happened in Kopa Bhavan? She has just, heard that news, and now she is going to come and speak to Kausalya ji. Now, Sita ji is another, very beautiful response over here. We talk so much about freedom of expression, free speech. In terms of, or in the time of Ramayana, how was free speech? That we see in Sita ji's words. So much of freedom in expression with respect. To Kausalya ji, she is speaking, and Kausalya ji is taking her side. That is another thing. She is not taking the side of Bhagwan Ram. She is taking Sita ji's side, but at the same time, she never transgresses Maryada. She never crosses her bounds as a daughter-in-law. With so much of reverence, she speaks to mother, but she says, I don't agree with what Bhagwan Rama is telling. And she gives a series of logical reasoning. Pratijna, Hetu, Drishtanta. All three things she gives, and Bhagwan says, I cannot convince you, come with me. That part we will see after we resume, after our summer break. So in the next 3 months, we'll pause for summer, and in September, when we resume, we'll continue from here. we will keep Bhagwan in Ayodhya for 3 more months, right? And I really thank all our AV Sevaks for this session, our Srini ji and Rajji. Srini ji and Rajji, every week doing a very nice job with all the back-end work. It makes a lot of difference to have this session up and running before we start, and to have our singers, and thanks to Geeta ji and all our singers, to have live singing sessions every session. So that coordination and everything, invoke Bhagwan's grace. Now you might ask, what can we do in the next 3 months for Ramayana? I would suggest whichever portion has spoken to you, go back and just do Parayanam of it. And if you have paid attention to the meaning, then even when you read, that meaning will come. Previously, it was separate, right? Chaupai was here, meaning was here. English meaning, you have to read it, or Hindi meaning. Purpose of studying is to bring both of it together. That meaning I should not be looking down. While reading the Chaupai, I should be able to get the meaning. But real thing after that is that meaning to come here. I should feel as though we are part of Ramayana. The Chaupai should open up more for us. Okay. I know we have a lot of plans before summer starts. But after summer, when we meet again, many of you share, oh, I wanted to do this, but it just didn't happen. So I hope all of you take some sankalpa and use that time effectively. Aganita Gunagana Bhushan Rama, Ashrita Vatsala Jaya Jaya Rama, Ayodhyavasi Sita Rama, Apad Bandhava Jaya Jaya Rama, Dasharatha Nandana Shri Rama, Dashamukha Mardana Jaya Jaya Rama, Kausalya Sukhavardhana Rama, Kamita Phalada Jaya Jaya Rama, Papa Vimochana Shri Rama, Pattabhirama Jaya Jaya Rama, Janaki Vallabha Sita Rama, Jaya Raghu Rama, Jaya Sita Rama, Vanara Sevita Shri Rama, Varidhi Bandhana Jaya Jaya Rama, Hanumat Pujita Sita Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Raghupati Raghava Raja Rama, Patita Pavana Sita Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Syavara Ramachandra Ki Jai, Satgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. My also heartfelt thanks to those who came in person. It was very different and very helpful for me also to connect in person and have Ramayana sessions with live audience. So I hope that encourages everybody also to come once we start after summer, at least one class in a week. Because online has its own benefit, but this is one shortcoming of it, that we lose that personal connect, face-to-face interaction, right? So hope all of you can come at least one session after we start. And also thanks to those joining us online. All of you are very regular. That is something also worth appreciating. Okay. Hari Om. Have a safe summer. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha. Hari